Welcome to our second of 5 Love Can home prayer groups. Again, I want to reiterate my thankfulness to each one of you setting aside these Wednesday evenings for the purpose to focus prayer for one another and the future ministry of our church. This evening's lesson will focus on 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Love is patient and kind. First, love is patient, the Bible writes. King James Version states that love suffereth long. It is never tired of waiting. The Greek word really means long-minded. Love is slow to give resentment, despair, or anger. The particular word Paul uses means to have patience with difficult people, rather than having patience in difficult circumstances, as some understand it. It describes the person who has been wronged, who has it within their power to get even, but chooses not to use that power. What I found interesting was the order of these two words. Paul could have said love is kind and patient, but that's not the way the Spirit led him to write it down. Love is first patient, then it's kind. Patience comes first. The King James doesn't use the word patient here. Instead, it uses the phrase, suffereth long. The Greek word in this passage is actually the compound word made up of two little different terms that literally translated are long and wrath, or anger. Now, if you don't know any better, you might think that a person who loved that way, that would be the person who would be angry for a long period of time. But that's not what it means. The Greek word is intended to imply that it takes a lot to make this person angry. You have to drag it into a long way down the road before they get mad. They suffer a lot before they even blow up. Now, if you love someone, and we all know this, there's going to be a time or two when they're going to get you upset. Isn't that true? Even they know where to push your buttons at, some may say. Now, don't go look at the person next to you, but you know it's true. In fact, it's often the people you care about who make you upset the most. They know where your buttons are at and what buttons to push. But when people annoy us, they really irritate us enough, we're tempted to get more than just a little upset. On occasion, our temptation will be to really get mad at them. But God says the mark of true love is to not let it happen. The mark of true love is to be patient when this person might irritate you. The mark of true love is long-suffering. As Peter writes, love covers a multitude of sins. Another way of putting it, love covers a multitude of irritations. Love covers a multitude of annoyances. Love overlooks many things that would otherwise make you behave badly. And that's what you expect from Christians, is it not? Because that's what we expect of God. There's a real humorous story told about an actor who was playing the part of Jesus in a passion play. And as he was carrying the cross up the hill, a heckler in the crowd began to make fun of him and said terrible things about him. The actor threw down the cross, walked over, and punched the guy. Well, the director took him aside and warned him, said, "You can't act like that. You're portraying Jesus, and Jesus would never do that." Well, the actor assured him it'd never happen again. Got back to the role. Second time, repeated itself. The heckler started, and he lost his cool after he trying his best, went up, punched the guy again. The director went up and told him, said, "You're fired. I can't have Jesus acting like this." And he begged and pleaded. He said, "I need this job. I really need the income. I promise I won't do it. Give me one more chance." They proceeded to do the play, and things seemed to be going along well. And as they started down the road towards Calvary and he was carrying the cross, the heckler got back up and began to mock again. Finally, the director was nervous, and so was the actor, because he was tensing up, and he finally just turned towards that man's direction and said, "I'll see you after the resurrection." Now, as humorous as that may be, it illustrates the point that sometimes we want to react instead of prepare not to react in the wrong way. During the early days of the Civil War, Edwin Stanton was outspoken in his criticism against Abraham Lincoln. He held Lincoln in utter contempt, calling him a gorilla and a cunning clown. Although he knew about the slanders, Lincoln never did retaliate. But when it came time to choose someone to oversee the war effort, Lincoln chose Stanton. When asked why, he simply replied, because he's the best man for the job. After President Lincoln was assassinated in April of 1865, Stanton stood weeping over Lincoln's body and declared, "There lies the greatest ruler the open world has ever seen. Patient love won in the end." Second, he says that love is kind of a sweet usefulness. Love is quick to help others and eager to reach out to those in need. Perhaps you've seen the famous quote, "I shall pass through this world but once." Any good thing, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer it nor neglect it, for I only pass this way. I'll never pass this way again. Even Mark Twain called kindness a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can read. He was absolutely right. Everyone can understand the language of love. It's truly a universal language comprehended by people of every nation, rich or poor, old or young, male or female. Kindness is a universal language that does not speak out to the intellectual, but directly to the heart. In one of his reports, Paul Harvey, one of my favorite writers of all time, told about a man named Carl Coleman who was driving to work one morning, and a woman motorist, suddenly passing too close, snagged his fender with hers. Both cars stopped. The young woman surveying the damage was in tears. It was her fault, she admitted. But it was then that new car, less than only 2 days old from the showroom. How was she ever going to face her husband? Mr. Coleman was very sympathetic, but explained that each needed to note the other's license number and their auto registration. The woman reached into her glove compartment of the car to retrieve the documents in an envelope. And the first paper to tumble out, in a heavy masculine scrawl, were these words: "In case of accident, remember, honey, it's you I love and not the car." Wow, that's pretty heavy, isn't it? But love is patient and kind. May the Lord bless you and touch your heart tonight in our study together.